Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on children's author Bob Shea. We talked about having ADHD, his son coming home for the holidays, the fun of having a teenager, his life as an author, his creative process, and the reality of having a creative career. I think Bob's books are hilarious and very creative, and Bob himself is a pretty ridiculous and hilarious person. If you haven't read any of his books, I suggest checking out Chez Bob, Who Wet My Pants, or The Scariest Book Ever. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, then we'll get started and everything.
That's my, I have a cuckoo clock.
Do you have a cuckoo clock?
My wife gave it to me. It helps with my ADHD, to be honest, which I'm sure we'll talk about because I can't shut up about it.
I had on a guest like a week or two ago. Chad Cochran was on like a week or two ago. The photographer, has a day job. He's had photos published in Rolling Stone. And he told me he was late diagnosed with ADHD. Basically, both of his parents had passed away. And he was like, hey, I'm going to do therapy. I'm sure there's something I'm not processing correctly. And he does the intake form and he walks in and his therapist is like, so how long have you had ADHD? And he's like, what are you talking about?
Why it was half filled out?
Well,
and he was on the wrong, and he showed up on the wrong day.
Yeah, you changed ink colors halfway through it, and then you changed back to the ink colors.
This is just a drawing of some pie. I don't know that. I don't get a ton out of that, but you're sending strong signals.
But I'm telling you, in the moment, I needed to draw this piece of pie.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we are.
I just wanted to remember to have lunch because I'm going to skip it.
I never know. Like, I'd be interested to ever get like officially tested for ADHD because I don't know how much is being scatterbrained and how much is just my own personal expectations of what I'm supposed to accomplish in a day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm sitting here and I'm like, did you do that thing? And I'm like, what thing? And I'm like, I already forgot. Damn it.
Yeah.
Why am I trying to do so much at
But
once?
that's also related. You know,
I know.
Too many things in a day. Time is infinite. It has no meaning.
Because like,
what do you mean? I have 2 hours. I can do anything.
I can do it. This is fine. I think this is, we'll start off with coping mechinisms. This is great. This is
all right, great. Yeah, no problem.
That's one of my favorite things to get older and realize is like, how did you learn how to structure your day like this? Like, oh, apparently it was a coping mechanism for something that was undiagnosed. And here we are.
That's 100% true. But also ask your wife, like, how annoying am I? You're very annoying all the time. All the time.
All the time.
I can't. I tell you something and I know where it's going to go. Oh, all right.
When did you do you have an official ADHD diagnosis? Or
Yeah,
is it just like you?
I do.
Okay, cool.
I was old. I was like 52. Yeah, I mean, I'm even older than that now, but I mean, I was late. I was super late. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like when you get a diagnosis like that, it gives you like language, wording for stuff you've been dealing with your entire life. What do you feel like getting like an official diagnosis? What did that mean to you or how did that like affect you?
Well, it's exactly what you said. It's like everything in my life made sense. Like you start walking backwards through every time you're like, you did something where you're like, I'm just incompetent. I can't be a grown up. I don't have grown up skills. Like, I don't know why I can't do these things. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's why. And like emotional things too. Oh, that's why I'm like, I get annoyed at stuff and this happens and this happens. The awareness was huge. It made all the difference. It wasn't an excuse, but it was like, yeah, you can't process this.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do too much and you're trying to overcompensate and all that stuff. It was huge for me. I mean, I'm medicated, but I mean, even if I weren't, like the awareness and the acceptance of it is huge.
Yeah.
I was much easier on myself. I was a much nicer person.
Yeah. Well, because if not, then it's like, it feels like whenever I'm talking, like I have 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old, 7 and 4-year-old.
You're in the thick of it.
I am
You're
very
in the
much
thick
so.
of it until they become teenagers.
Yeah, I know. I'm still trying to enjoy it. But like, it's like if I try to tell my 4-year-old a concept, he has a 4-year-old brain. He can only conceptualize so much of it. I feel like with like getting older, learning diagnoses and stuff, it's like, hey, why aren't you able to figure this out? And it's like, my brain doesn't know how to process that.
I
It's
can't.
just like, I'm not going to blame my 4-year-old for not knowing calculus.
Right.
That's not an option. So like, I try to figure out that grace of like, hey man, if your brain can't understand this, it can't understand it.
Hmm.
Don't use it as a crutch. Like, don't be like, I can't do this. I'm dumb. But be like,
Hmm.
hey, I struggle with understanding this. It's just who I am,
Yes.
and help me out.
I agree. First of all, 4-year-old is my favorite age. That is the sweet
It's
spot.
so
They are
fun. It's so fun.
nice, and they're your buddy, and they just have conversations with you.
Mhm.
It's the best age. But yeah, but I mean, to that point, I mean, I think just getting older too. Like in my 20s, I thought I had to be able to do everything and be good at
Mhm.
everything, and now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. I don't know how to do my taxes. I don't want to know. That's a waste of my time. If I have a certain amount of time in a day and left on the planet, I'm like, I'm going to do taxes? No, I'm not. Somebody else does it. My wife handles a lot of that. Fortunately, we have different skill sets. But I mean, yeah, now I'm accepting of it. I don't see it as failure, as some character flaw or personal failing. I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And so I don't. And who cares? No one cares. I've said I don't want to do things and just there's no consequence.
Yeah.
I mean, I file my taxes, but I mean,
You can do,
I
yeah,
don't have to
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
them.
yeah. You're doing this from jail, by the way.
Right, exactly. You know what? How nice would that be just for a couple months? You know what I mean? Just a couple of months. You
You
read
just
books. You like somebody, like, what's for dinner? Don't worry about it. We got you.
more about someone's got you, man.
Somebody's got you. Yeah, you have no responsibility. Maybe you learn like a skill. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I bet there's a shop you can use. Yeah, I mean, you can't. You got to put the screwdriver back where the screwdriver shape is,
Yeah,
so that
yeah, of
you
course,
don't
yeah.
sneak it
You
off.
don't
But
get shivved. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean, besides that, I can live with that stuff. Especially
There's a
being old
lot.
now. Like people are like, oh, he's old. He probably is really strong. I don't know. I don't know how jail works.
I'm glad you don't know how jail
I don't.
works.
I know it
That's
just from
good.
TV.
That'll be your next kid's book will
Right.
be Bob Bob maybe okay, instead of jail, maybe have like a psychotic break, you know? Maybe that's
Yes,
better, you know?
I have experience with that. That's fine.
That's fine.
Not for
Maybe
us.
not
Not a problem.
not a problem, you're good for it. I feel that way about like home projects. Like if it's like we built like a wall in our basement, did drywall and all that. And my first thought was like, you should know how to do this. And it's like, you no. Why would you know how to do any
No.
of this? No, you should like maybe know what looks like crap, maybe know how to vet like a contractor or something. But like my first instinct, especially as a man, is
Hmm.
like, is there something wrong with the house? You should know how to fix this. Devin, you've never done HVAC. What
Exactly.
what are you doing?
This is what I say every time. I'm like, I should really patch that hole in the ceiling instead of calling somebody. I'm like, this is going to be the first time you ever did this, and they've done it a million times. How's it going to look if you lay tile for the first time? It's going to look
Yeah.
screwed up. It's
Hmm.
like it's not worth. When I bought my house 20 years ago, we walked in and there's this pink tile in the entryway, and I was like, that's the first thing gone. I hate that
Hmm.
pink tile. It's still
Yeah.
there. I say it all the time. I'm like, hey, that pink tile's still here. And there's never been extra money to be like pink
Yeah.
tile
Yeah.
money. I'm not pink tile rich. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so rich. Well, everything's covered. So now we're onto the tile. Like that's a thing you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
live with.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, until I can get a guy to do it, I'm going to live with that. Oh,
Pretty
well.
much. Yeah, yeah. It's more like, hey, do I make sure? Yeah, because our house was built like in the 80s. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. And out in Colorado, foundations tend to crack, as I said, all that stuff. And I'm like, I'd rather have money set aside for my terrifying, like, what if her foundation gets in a crack in it versus the like, the wall color in this room. I'm not feeling the white. I'm not. But also, but I have 3 kids. So like, trying to do a painting project when you have 3 kids is basically you or your spouse hanging out with the kids in a different room while you get shit done. That's
Yep.
basically what
Yep.
it is.
For them to come in and then make you need
Step
to
in the paint.
repaint it.
Step in the paint. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Don't
Yeah.
lean on that wall. Which wall? Okay. That was the only I'm painting
Oh,
it as you talk to me.
and
What are
there's
you
all
doing
those
here?
toys. There's all those craft supplies on the floor that you're using that the kids come in and are like, look at all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Can I
hard.
borrow this blue tape? No. You
No,
please
you
don't.
can't. It's
Please
fun
don't.
tape though. You get that green frog tape. It's
It's
nice.
so
It
good.
works
It's
real
so
well
good.
too, as advertised.
How many kids do you have? Ages, all
I have
that good stuff.
one. I have a 21-year-old son who is in college now, and he's on his way home today for winter
Okay.
break, and I'm very excited to see him Yeah.
Nice. How's it? So you're an empty nester now, yeah?
Yeah.
How's it? What year is your son in
He's
college?
a senior. He's this is his
Man,
last year, so he's got one more semester and then he's gonna live back home for a while.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's rough out there, man.
It's rough.
I would. I'm a stay-at-home parent. The thought of like go find a job right now, I'm like,
There's no
okay,
way.
all
There's no
right, I'm
way.
good. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of more reasons why I wouldn't be able to get one, but it's like, what would I do? Go out and I draw dinosaurs. Do you need that?
Maybe, maybe that. How many dinosaur-related companies are there in Connecticut?
Very few. Actually, there's one, I think, maybe. But
Could
I
you
bet they're
start it?
covered. Yeah. I'm sure they have like a pile of resumes and someone with more dinosaur experience than me.
That would be actually. I'm sorry. I like how my brain works. Is I think of really dumb skits that would make me laugh a lot,
Right.
and the thought of you showing up at like a paleontologist, being like,
Right.
I just know how to color them.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know what kind it is or anything. I don't even think he has bones. Are teeth bones? And I'll ask him
This
questions like that. Be like, yeah, teeth are bones, you idiot. Sorry. I'm not a dinosaur doctor like you.
I
Yeah.
thought I drew some. I heard they are kind of bird-like now, is what I had read.
That's
So
what
I
they're
drew some
saying.
feathers on there.
I think that the dinosaur consortium was just like, hey, we've been saying the same stuff for like a long time. What if they're birds?
It's a
You know
PR
what I
move.
mean? Just to
The PR
they're like,
move.
we need to get it. We need more attention. It's how
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get more, news
The last
coverage.
the last Jurassic Park really bombed, so we feel like the dinosaur world isn't getting the attention that it needs. So this
Right.
is what we gotta
Right.
do.
Exactly. Forgot there even was one.
It had Scarlet, was it Dominion? The Lost World, Jurassic World. It's kind of like learning about new band names where you just
Yes.
kind of throw some words together and you're like, yeah, listen to them for years. They're great.
Right. Right. My son's band's name is Mildly Allergic. So yeah, I know that. He's a music major. Yeah.
Where's he go to
He
college
goes
at?
to SUNY Purchase, State University of New York Purchase.
Okay.
And it's so the SUNY system in New York, every school has a focus. Maybe it's that way in every state. And I'm like mansplaining colleges to you. I don't know.
You're fine.
So that one is the arts and like Mitski went there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and like I forget the other ones, but a bunch of people went there. Stanley Tucci
Cool.
went there for acting. Like it's like
Cool,
where a
sweet.
lot of famous people went. So he's in the studio composition program. So he's
Mhm.
going to be an indie musician. Like that's his
Okay.
thing. He's got a
Yeah.
band and he's going to tour and do stuff. And I'm like, and like we were talking about getting jobs. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. What if I had pushed him into programming when he was 12? Be a programmer, be a
Dude.
programmer, be a programmer. And then he
Yeah.
comes out and it's like, oh yeah, sorry, we don't need that anymore. Why don't
Dude,
you go
it's
fix fax machines?
yeah, go do that instead. It's the music business world. That's insane and ridiculous.
Mhm,
And I feel like there's this huge discussion of like, because to like break through algorithms and stuff, you have to
mhm.
create content. And you're like, but this is my artist. Like, I know you're an artist
Same
also, so you
same
deal with this
thing. It's
every
the
day.
same thing.
It's such I personally always think you should support arts more. And I think most of the battle right now is like, hey, how do you get someone to know you exist? Like, how do you get people to know your son's band exists or that your kid's book exists? It's real fun, I'm
Both
sure.
things. It's hard. We could talk about either one, and they're both really difficult. So
Yeah.
for the thing with my son that I think he has going for him now that he's young, that he's
Hmm.
21, is he can do live shows. And so I think especially people his age are really want a sense of community and want live events and to things to do that aren't sitting in front of a screen. So I think that's going to take off a little bit in the next few years. There's going to be a bigger desire for that. As far as the algorithms and stuff go, no idea. It's impossible. Even if he
It is.
does like even if he has some hit songs, it's song that they put on Stranger Things or something and then
Hmm.
it's everywhere.
Yep.
He knows a band that happened to, this band Wunderbar, and he's like follows them. And they had a song on that was a popular on TikTok a couple of years ago, and people were putting in all their things. I think it was called Darla or something else. Anyway, he said that did okay for them for a while, but then it's not sustainable. You have to
Yeah.
have hit after hit after hit. After that, people
Yep.
stopped using it. Anyway, he said their streams are just to the point where they can earn a living.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know, like, so I lived in Nashville for 18 years. I
Mhm.
studied music business, so pretty
Cool.
in tune with that world. Mm. I had neighbors or people in Nashville who they did like sync placements, in which basically they write a song for the intention of it being placed in movies and like streaming stuff. I've
Really?
Yeah, so it's called Sync, like SYNC, um, in which like you have a friend who like will write songs and then he gives it to someone and they basically are like, "Hey, Hallmark, for some of your Christmas movies, here's a Christmas song. Does this fit any of the stuff you're trying to release out there?" And that's a whole
Wow.
world where I'm like, to me, like I get it. I think you should make money and eat food. But in my head, like I wouldn't know how to do that to balance that with like I'm part of the song. Cause if I create something like I'm inherently part of it or it's like some representation of me.
Yeah.
So like to just be like, hey, here's a song, use it however you want is like such a different mindset of creativity than I would know how to do. That feels like
Yeah.
so much more of a job than like an expression. I know it's both, but still.
Mhm. That's your 9 to 5 when you do that, right? And then hopefully at night you're doing your own stuff, but at the same time, to your point, it's like if I'm doing BS graphic design all day, it's like that I don't wanna do it. At night, I wanna be like, I don't wanna see Photoshop again ever.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I talked to my son about that. I'm like, "Go get a job that you hate, like in a coffee shop or whatever, and then
Yeah.
just like, you know, be done." And then then at night, you're so motivated to do your music that you'll do your music.
Yeah, because the line does get blurred of like, yeah, I couldn't imagine like, if I do data entry all day or something like that. My first job out of college was like very data entry heavy, and then I'd be like, I'd get home and like play guitar more just so I'd be like, oh my god, let me just see what other parts of my brain exist because you've been
Yeah,
so like focused on one thing. But if I had played guitar all day and something that didn't give me life, I would look at like guitar at the end of the day and be like, I don't want you.
I don't
Get
want
out of
get
here.
away from me. Your fingers are sore. Yeah, get away from
Oh yeah,
me.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's that. So he's doing that, and then it's in terms of like the book stuff. It's difficult because everybody, and this was really evident in the pandemic. So I go on
Yeah.
tour and stuff, and I
Yeah.
do. They send me around, and I do school visits, and I do things
Yeah.
and events with bookstores that nobody goes to, and I don't blame them. When I my son was small, I wouldn't go either, right? So anyways,
That's not how
so
it
they're
works.
promoting the books. It sort of is. So promoting the books,
Yes.
was I gonna say? It's impossible because everybody, when they go, when your friend has a kid, you go get Hungry Caterpillar and Where the Wild Things Are and whatever else, 10 other titles. And you're not like, what's a new kid's book that I can get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to break through to be like, we gotta get a Bob Shea book, like
Yeah.
it doesn't really work that way. So you have relationships with the bookstores and with school librarians who are sort of your advocates kind of thing.
Yeah. I do know, like, I'm a big fan of independent bookstores,
Mhm.
and that's normally where, like, I'll go and also libraries. But, like, that's where I normally find new kids authors is literally just who they display out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and
as a
mhm.
Greg Pizzoli, I feel like I
Yeah.
discovered his books because like, I walked by and saw, like, an alligator swallows a watermelon scene. I was like,
Watermelon
"I bet
Seed.
that's
Yeah.
a fun book. Let's read this one now."
Yeah. He's a friend of mine. I mean, I'm thanked in that book. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. He seems like it, yeah. But, yeah, that's like because if not, then you go like, "All right, what book did I read whenever I was a kid? Let's buy that one for this kid." And like I think there's actually tons of creative, really fun stories that are being told in children's like kids books right now at that level. You just gotta I feel like once I open that door, I was like, oh my God, what other authors are there? This is so much fun.
Mhm.
I know it's something you figure out on a daily basis. What have you found helps people know that you exist and that you're out there creating kids' books?
It's you know what? It's hard because my online presence, you sort of it's what you said, the independent bookstores are huge because 'cause they're the
Mhm.
ones who really push your books, and you're unique that you're like, "I'm gonna go in there and see what's new." You know what I mean? That's very admirable, and I appreciate it. So it's like, and then so you go to the independent bookstore, and if they're fans of mine, my books are, so I write funny books, is sort of the thing. Like I can't outdraw a lot of people, but my books have a unique sensibility that's
Mhm.
my thing. And if you like that, you're gonna like it. Like in the book, and if the bookstore owner likes it, they're gonna display my book and go, "Hey, this is funny. You should read this." Because they're not. They're anyway. They're just funny, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's how I do it. And then doing things online, like this, and like I do. Oh, and then so I just launched last week. I launched a drawing club for kids. So I'm doing a monthly. newsletter with drawing activities, and then there's like a story that's not finished. So it's the start of a story, and a kid can draw a picture and finish it, and then I'll draw it for the next month, the one I pick, to say, hey, here's that story from last month. Here's your new story this month. And to
Mhm.
just try to build, and it's just like music or anything else. You're trying to build an audience of people so that I do this for a few months, build an audience, and then when I have a book out, hey, and here's this
Yeah.
book I have out, and you have eyeballs who are willing to look at your stuff, and you're just nice to people. It's like, just be nice to people. I mean, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's a long game.
It is. Isn't it sad? I agree with that. Of like, I mean, doing a podcast, if I interact someone in like messages or something like that, or someone sends me a DM about a episode or something, I'm like, my first thought is like, be nice, just be kind. Like, just be kind. It's going, and also, why not be kind? Just if someone's reaching out to you, like, be nice to them. Why not?
Right. It's not, I'm not saying that as a marketing ploy. I'm just saying, just be nice to
In
people.
general,
Like just use your own experience of how hard life is. Like life's
yes,
really hard. So it's like difficult as it just to be. If somebody writes something you don't like, just ignore it. Like just walk away. You're not going to win by having the clever remark, like being a
yeah,
wise
yeah,
guy or whatever. Just walk away. And if people are nice, if someone takes the time and writes me an email, oh geez, that reminds me, I have to respond to somebody. If somebody writes me an email that's like, they're like, hey, I read my book with my kid, and we really love it, and thank you, blah blah blah. They had to like stop what they were doing,
yeah.
remember to do it after the fact, and when they were on their phone or on the computer, and like write me a note. That's a lot of steps,
It is a lot of steps.
right? That's meaningful to me. I'm like, that was really nice of you. You're like a cool person. I appreciate that. So I'm not dismissive of those things. I
Yeah.
think that people taking time out to do that is I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I don't know if this relates to you, but like I don't get many negative comments on my like podcast or what anything says to it. So if anyone says anything, I'm like, wait, did you actually listen to this?
Right.
Like, did you actually like? I feel like the assumption is like, oh well, people are gonna like rip you apart. They're gonna destroy your books or your episodes, and it's like, actually, if anyone noticed it at all, that's actually like
Right.
really. I'm screaming into a void here, guys. There's a lot of content you can consume. If you found this podcast, if you found my kid's book, thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it. That means a lot.
I feel that way with I have a humor Substack that I do, and I'm like, wow, people are reading it, but they are not. I'm not saying they are that it's popular, but like
Yeah, yeah.
in terms of your podcast, it again, think of your own experience. How many podcasts do you listen to regularly that you're not going to stop and be like, I better tell them how much I like this, and they don't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
realize that they're like, oh well, he's the creator of a podcast. He knows already. I don't want to bother him. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah, I
I've
do. Yeah.
done it a couple times with a couple of podcasts or episodes that were meaningful to me, and the responses I got back were very, very appreciative. And they were like, "Wow, thanks." I don't, and they said the same thing you just said. They were like, "I don't hear anything."
Anything.
So I'm like, "Is this going okay?" And
Basically,
I
it
did listen to a bunch of episodes, and they were very good. Just so you know.
thank you. Appreciate that. But I mean, it's like I'm sure you feel this way about creating kids' books. You're like, I know what type of book I want to make. I have an idea of who I am
Hmm.
realistically, and I'm going to present that in what I create. And man, I hope it connects. Man, I hope someone reads this book with their kid and goes, "This dinosaur is really cute and ridiculous.
Yeah.
And what's he going to get into next?"
Hmm.
And you just cross your fingers that it connected in some way.
Yeah. That's all you can do, because I try not. Times I've tried to guess what people
Mhm.
would want were my worst books that did the worst. Times I'm just like, I'm going to do this because not because I want to, like I feel like it. I'm like, I think this is funny and fun and playful. And I try not to read other children's books
Yeah.
too much, not too much. I don't like, okay, I'm going to scan what's going on because,
Mhm.
all right, penguins are big. Do a penguin book. You know what I mean? Like,
I do. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to make a story the best I can. And the nice thing about this job is you can keep growing. Like I can go, you know what? I don't think my couple of years ago, I was like, man, my layouts are terrible. And so I like stopped and like, I'm going to study layout for a while. And then I applied it to my books and people commented on it. So it's always growth. So the industry, your career is always interesting,
Yeah.
to your point again
Yeah.
about making music. That's just like, hey, Hallmark, it's got, it's Christmas music. You want it?
You
Which is
good?
nothing wrong with that either. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just another it's just another expression of the industry, but it wouldn't work for me.
No. We just read through, or we got your book from the library. What's the one you did, one with like a ghost who's scared of things, and it
Scariest
turns
book
out
ever.
scariest book ever. And I genuinely enjoy that because I also have like a quirky sense of humor where it's just, and I think kids do too. I think kids understand jokes, and I think it's okay to let kids understand jokes of being like, hey, would you think a pumpkin patch is scary? Do you think like a bunny going to pumpkin patch is scary?
Mhm.
It's not. And like my son who's 4 understands it's not that scary, and this ghost is being
And
ridiculous.
they get absurdity,
Hmm.
and you can be developmentally beyond where they are, like with vocabulary and stuff,
Yeah.
because they get that it's silly.
Yeah.
You know, I have a line in a book I did called "Who Wet My Pants," and the guy's bear, the main character, is accusing all his friends of wetting his pants,
Yes.
and so one outburst is, "You seem to know a lot about who, wet, what, when, vis-a-vis my pants." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's they don't know any of that stuff." But it's like when the parent reads it, you're like, if you know, they're gonna get that he's angry. Like, it's what do I need them to get? That he's angry and he's being ridiculous.
Yes.
And it works. Yeah. So yeah, the scariest book ever. That has a lot of they tell you they give you enough rope to hang yourself because I like put a lot of weird stuff in there. And
Oh yeah, there is.
I'm like, when am I getting the email to take this out?
Hey man, maybe the bunny behind the mask is not a good idea in this one.
Maybe. No.
I think whenever books are like, since you do wordplay a lot, I think as a parent, it makes me pay more attention to the book. Because
Good.
if I'm reading like Good Night Moon, Good Night whatever, then I zone out during it. And I feel like when I read your books, or even like BJ Novak did a book of like, I can't remember the name of it
Mm-hmm.
is, but like if you you've created a game inside of reading a book to your kids that
Yeah.
I now get to play with my kids. And that means I pay attention. I'm going to read it more. I'm going to look for the details and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it means I'm a more present reader for it. Whereas, like, yeah, if you give me Where the Wild Things Are, I've read that book 5 million times. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to care as
Yeah, you know,
much.
you're phoning it in. Like you're
A little bit, yes,
and it's a great book. Obviously, it's a classic, but like
yeah,
I try to acknowledge that there's more than one person in the room. You
yes,
know, it's the time. You know, the thing is, when you're reading a book at bedtime, it's like all day long you've been both of you, like even your 4-year old, like
yeah,
you've been doing tasks, and you've been like, we have to get to this place. You have to get in the car. We have to do this. Come on, come on, come on. And there's not as many moments to just sit and enjoy each other's company. And I'm like, this is the time. So I feel I'm honored that I get to be part of that and like
yeah, yeah.
try to make it not something, and I went through this too, like make it something where you're just trying to get to the end of it.
Correct,
Do you know
yes,
what I mean? Like, of
yeah, I
course you
do.
know what I mean. And like my son, man, he loved the Polar Express.
Yeah,
And that is a tough one. And you're
it
trying to
is.
skip pages and you're like, Chris Van Allsburg, man, stop talking. That's too
Please
many
stop.
words.
Amelia Bedelia drives me crazy because whenever they say her name, they have to say Amelia Bedelia every time. So you read the words Amelia Bedelia 2 to 3 times per page.
Right.
And after a while, I would just skip her name. I would just use the pronoun her
Yeah.
because I'm like, I already this book is like nonsense in a way that annoys me.
Right.
Like,
Right.
which I don't know why, but I'm like, you wouldn't like, you're being, I get the joke. I don't think it's that funny. It's
Right.
like
You're
the
like, all right,
ego
I
that I
get it.
bring.
She's
I get
very
it.
literal.
You take things literally. You hung the light bulb, you open up the blinds, you did this wrong. And I'm like,
Right.
but also you don't have any consequences for the fact that like no one's sitting you down and be like, hey,
Hey, listen.
Amelia Bedelia, you're too literal. Like you're helpful and I love that you're helpful. But also, can you we need to work on our communicate. That entire book series is about bad communication skills. And it
Hmm.
hurts to read sometimes.
Yeah. I would be like, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Here's the thing she
You
did
know,
on
the
this
lady,
page.
she's right.
Man, we're doing this
That is
again.
that is next. That is next level phoning it in. But yeah, it's obvious what she's doing. She's not
Hmm.
supposed to do that. Next pay.
Yeah, exactly. Here, she's going to do, you remember what she did the last page? Same thing, different stuff. Okay, here we go.
That's what if you want to do other content, that's what you could do. You could do Bob's retelling of
All
famous
right. Give it a miss. Amelia Bedelia. She just takes things literally.
Yeah.
Spoiler. I'll just spoil every children's book.
That would greatly entertain me. I know that
Yeah.
the average person isn't looking for a series of popular children's author retells classics
Right.
in his own
Right.
style, but I'd be here
I'm
for it.
glad. Thanks. I'm glad that me burning my career to the ground would entertain you.
It would entertain me. Well, I mean, you would know if someone was listening. That's
That's
part of,
true.
it's
Hey, I'm getting a lot of likes on this. All my contracts are canceled.
oh,
But
wow.
hey, look at that. I'm getting a lot of attention.
Disney Hyperion told me to stop using their logo in all of my emails. That's a
Right,
positive.
right. Oh my gosh.
Whenever you do work with a publisher, tell me about like your whole like publishing process. Like, do you have like a publisher you go to? You're like, hey, I got this book, or like, how does that work when you create like a new book?
So I for years I was with Disney Hyperion.
Mhm.
And so it was easy because we would just send it to Disney Hyperion and they would
Yeah.
say thumbs up, thumbs down. And
Mhm.
if they didn't want it, they would say, feel free to go somewhere else.
Okay.
Fortunately, most of the things, like I said, they gave me enough rope to hang myself. And eventually
Yeah.
I did, and they stopped doing my books. They sold all the it's inside baseball, but they sold all the titles to Little Brown, to another publisher.
Okay.
So then I was kind of a free agent, and and the next books I did were with Little Brown, and that's where I did a book called Chez Bob, which is one of my most popular books, and Who Wet My Pants I did with them too, and is another one of my most popular books.
Hmm.
And so what happens now is I'll come up with an idea and I'll send it to my agent,
Hmm.
and my agent will say could say a couple things. One of the things is, we're not doing this. Like, not we, but he's like, you really should. I think that I wish he would just go, this isn't any good. We're not doing it. Like, because he tries to be
Do you know how
nice
to say
about it.
that phrase to someone? Do if your son came to you with a new song, would you know how to look at him and say, "This isn't any good"? I don't have that energy.
I would not know how to do. I do this. You know what the problem is? I know the method. So when I'm reading the email, it's more
Yeah,
annoying that he's going, hey, a lot of things to like here,
a
but
lot of things like a lot of good, a
loved
lot of
how
good.
a couple paragraphs didn't have any typos. Um, had fewer than other paragraphs. No, so I no, because I get that it's a business and I'm like, all right, this
Yeah.
isn't working. You don't have to sugarcoat it. Let's move on. Because
Hmm.
like, so I just submitted a manuscript. I wasn't going to illustrate it, and it got rejected by the publisher. And I was reading it was from a new publisher I hadn't worked with, and they're very nice and they write nice things and stuff. But ultimately, I'm like, they didn't like the story, is the bottom line. Like, they'll say, oh, this kind of wasn't working, and I guess we could fix it. And instead of running to fix it, I just move on to the next thing. It's not, I don't take it personally. I'm like, they didn't see that they could sell this book. That has
Yeah.
nothing to do with me. I didn't
Yeah.
nail it this time. On to the next thing. Do you know what I mean? It
I
sounds
do.
like
Yeah.
I don't, and I do, like you said, with music, it is very much a part of me. At worst, I think I didn't express it properly so that other people could see what I saw in it or feel what I felt about it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't express it correctly. And so maybe that's technique, or maybe that's a lot of different things. But I don't take it that personally. So anyway, so it goes to my agent, and my agent says, I don't follow the industry at all. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's merging with who or what thing is what. So he says, I know an editor at X publisher who's looking for something like this. This is perfect for them. Great. Or he'll say, I like, this is a departure for you, and I'm excited about it. We're going to do an auction. And then it goes to a bunch of houses, and they all have to say, a lot of them just turn it down flatly. But the
Hmm.
ones who like it will say, "Oh, I'm gonna, here's my bid for this title."
Yeah.
And then once you do that, you sign contracts and make the book.
Nice. Because I mean, like, when you release new kids' books, like, is there like an equivalent of like New York Times bestseller for children's
Sure,
books?
there,
Like,
and that's exactly
okay,
what it is. There's a children's
okay,
book list, yeah,
okay.
that I've heard of, that I've heard tell of.
But your name is still not
No,
appeared on yet.
no, it's not. It hasn't been. A lot of those spots. It's going to sound like sour grapes if I talk about it. I don't. And again, I don't mind. Like, I don't equate that with. I equate success with, do people still get excited to get manuscripts from me? Like, is the
Yeah, I
industry
gotcha.
still open to me? Because I'll tell you, you just
This?
one day, yeah, to this one day, you just wait. Like, they don't announce it. Like, you don't get called down to HR. Like, all one day, you're just like, huh, my agent's not returning my email. Huh, he's not, haven't heard from him in a while. That means he can't sell your stuff and you're done. Like no one tells
Yeah.
you. So I fortunately I've had this conversation with my wife like a week ago. I'm like, I don't think I'm done. Like they
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that story got turned down, but they responded right away and we're excited to get it. Like if I can keep that up for the next couple weeks till I die,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
till death,
But it
then I'll be okay.
it's very different than, like, you sending the follow-up email a week later being like, "Hey, man, I did send you this manuscript, right?
Mhm.
I just wanna make sure, like, it didn't get lost in your inbox, like, it's not in your junk mail or anything like that." Then to do a follow-up email 2 weeks later, be like, "Hey, just following up once again."
Never.
It's a very different energy of, like, I should just stop talking."
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's what
hearing here.
I resisted with the manuscript that got turned down. I resisted the urge to check in. I was gonna write him an email, and I was like, "You know what? If he has something to tell me, he'll tell me." That's it, you know? So, yeah, that's how it works, and that's again, that's my measure of success, not
Mhm.
external things. It's like, do still people wanna still buy my books? Like, but like, buy like, do publishers still wanna make my books and send them around and distribute them and then put me on an airplane and send me somewhere for a right drink more bourbon than sell books. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, nobody was at the bookstore. You sure you want to send me out around the country? They're like, it's a long game. Don't worry
It's
about
a
it.
long
Like,
game, man.
yeah, yeah. They're like, we know that that happens. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all
That's
right.
nice. How far do you travel, like, all areas of America, or do you just stay, like, New England area
No,
whenever you do, like, book tours?
for tour is usually a region. Like, but I
Okay.
travel all over. I don't go out west very much. I have a little bit, but I don't. I end up mostly like in the Chicago area and in Florida, Texas, and in like, yeah, and on like the East Coast, like down to DC and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Yeah.
That's fair. I
Yeah.
mean, it's all I think at that world is kinda like, "All right, man, where do we know people are buying your books? Let's send you there."
It's always
You're not
based, yeah, it's based on independent bookstores. So they'll go, "Okay, let's go out. Here's an independent bookstore. They wanna host him. They'll tie you into schools," and they do it that way, yeah. And then books and then school visits is different. I just get an invitation from a school, and that could be anywhere, and that's a lot of
okay,
times that's the middle of the country, and, like, I have Alabama coming up and Austin, Texas, and I do a lot in the Chicago area too.
cool, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to make you talk about fatherhood a little bit
Sure,
more.
sure.
Your son coming home for, like, Christmas break and stuff, how's it feel? Like, whenever you know he's about to come home, how do you feel about that? I know you said you're already excited and stuff, but, like, do you have anything fun planned? Do you try to, like, make sure to be more intentional with that time whenever he's around?
Yeah, when he's around, it's harder to work only because I can't say no to whatever he wants.
Mhm.
Not in in terms of spending time with him. Because I know my wife found the statistic where by the time they're 18, you've spent 80% of the time you're going to spend with this person in your life. And she
Yep.
just started crying. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and so now when he's home, if he's like, hey, because my wife and I share a car. So when he comes home, he has another car. So I'm like, hey, can you drive me into the studio? And he's like, yeah, you want to get a cup of coffee when we get out? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah,
go
yeah.
and sit and talk and walk to the coffee shop from my studio. And it's like, it's nice. So he definitely he changes the energy in the house. And like even with my wife, who becomes more of a border collie when he's home, and she like can't sleep till he comes back in from his friends and all this kind.
Yeah.
And I can sleep like a baby. Huh? I'm like, he'll call, the phone will wake me up. Like, but she cannot go to sleep until he's
Yeah.
home.
I'm more like your wife in that scenario. I'm like "We good? Is everything good? There's gonna be some need I need to meet, right? Like,
Yes.
what's going on here?" That's more me,
Yeah.
realistically.
It's hard. It's hard. It's funny. Like I thought by the time he was 21, I would be, I don't want to say hands off, but the relationship would be different. And I've even, especially lately, like I'm still his dad. Like I'm his dad. Like, and he
Yeah.
needs me to be his dad. And I'm happy to do it. But I was surprised. Like I thought the teenage years were really tough. And I'll tell you, he's a good kid and a good person. And he never gave us a lot of trouble. Never at all. But he still was like 15 years old. And I was like, get the hell away from me. I don't want you. My wife was much more patient. And I was like, if you're going to be like this to me, then go away. Cause I'm like, I'm a person too. And I'm a big baby. So I'm like, I don't deserve you to talk to me like this. I wouldn't yell
Yeah,
at him
yeah.
and I'd be like, hey, that's not how you talk to me or anybody. Get away from me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he'd be like, "Oh, Dad's mad at me." I'm like, "Yeah, I am at you. Go away."
You're
Here,
mad,
what
you're
are you doing?
being an idiot,
Yeah,
so
you're being a jerk. I'm like, I do all this stuff for him all the time, and you're like being mean to me. This is teenager stuff. So
yeah, of course.
I tell my friend has 5 kids, and one of them is still in high school, and the rest of them are older. And she said someone told her this, but this is the best parenting advice I ever got. She said, when your teenager says something to you, listen to what they say, not how they say it. So if they come in and go, can we go now? Don't listen
Yeah.
to the tone. Just go, they want to leave.
They're done. They're ready to go.
Then you can be like, all right. And you don't take it personally. And it doesn't hurt as much. So I had that written on a piece of paper on my desk.
Ignored. Also, teaching someone tone is like one of the hardest things
Yeah.
ever because it's like I don't want my teach my kids how to do stuff. Like I want my kids to understand who they are affects the energy in the room,
Yeah.
but also be who you are, but also be
Hmm.
aware of who you are, but also be who you are, but also not too much.
Don't
Like
write. There's a lot of you right now. And the thing
the
is,
pie chart of the room right now, it's about 90% you. All right, we're
and
gonna
you
just drop
right,
that down to about
right. And the other 10% is sad that 90% is you. Is actively dealing with the 10% that's you.
basically yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then I forget what the other thing was. There was another teenager thing that I desperately tried to remember all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, but one of the things that I did also, oh, this is the thing I was going to say. So I tried to keep in mind, like, he could only yell at me.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah,
he can't,
you're the safe space
I'm the
to be
safe
screamed at.
space. Like he can't
Yep.
like lose his temper on his teachers or
No.
be snippy to his friends. He wouldn't have any friends. And I wouldn't let him talk that way to my wife. She put up with it. But if he did it in front of me, I'd be like, what did you just say to your mother? So I'm like, all right, I'm the last vessel that he can kick around because he's got all these emotions. He doesn't know what's going on. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I
So
no, I absolutely do.
so
Yes.
it didn't make me like it any better, but I tried to understand it. I
Yeah.
also
It's
did.
like
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like whenever if your kids were in daycare or anything like that, and they come home and they're a terror, they're screaming at everything, they're blah the entire time. It's like, oh, I'm going to interpret this as you held it in very well all day,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel safe to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
My gosh, it's so exhausting, but it's true. It's like they're masking all day. They're like, okay, there's
Mhm.
an expectation of me to behave a
Yep.
certain way. Preschool, I'll tell you, high school was not a lot different than preschool in that way. It's really
Mhm.
true. And then he comes home and he's like, I'm going to take it out on you because I have all this stuff that's bottled up because
Yep.
I had to be in society. And you take the brunt of it.
Yep. Some part of you is also like, I also had to deal with society today.
Oh,
Also, man. All right, let's make this collaborative, not attacking. Come on.
oh my gosh, I know. I desperately tried to not play that card.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. But it's some part of me is like, I also had to mask today, man. Come on.
I'd
Like,
play that card to my wife. I'm like, do you know
yes.
I had to do this GD thing all day and I had to
Yep.
this thing and people are calling. I had to be nice.
Yeah.
And then I come home and he's like, he doesn't appreciate it. It's total classic dad stuff. But I'm
Yep.
just like,
Yep.
I wouldn't do that to him because I didn't want
No.
him to be like, I'm not allowed to express emotion to my
No.
father.
Then you're 90% of the
Then
room.
I'm like, I won't do that. I won't
You
do
shouldn't.
that.
It's not as you can't. There's a definite urge to do that because you have your own experience and you also want to be seen and heard. But that's not the space.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a thing. I knew for a while I was doing this thing where I would record messages to him.
Hmm.
Like instead of writing a letter, I'd record a message. And then he started to bitch about it and be like, you're filling up my phone. I don't have any room. I was like, we're done. So what I did was I'm like, all right, that's not appreciated. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a moleskin notebook and I would write down things that I thought of as he was 15. Like I'd write down like if we went and had a good experience together, I'd like write a little note about it. If I had a thing that like I have another book too now that he's in college, like of all the things I'm proud of him about. Like if he
Mhm.
does something that makes me proud, I write it down. Cause a lot of times I'll say, oh, I'm proud of you. And he'll go, why? What did I do? And like off the top of your head, you're like, well, I don't have a list on me. And now I have a
Just
list on
you.
me.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're not a jerk. Like they don't appreciate how being not a jerk is like such a
It's a
huge
massive just be a
mountain.
decent person, man. Like,
Being
and
a
you're
decent
you're gonna have a
person.
leg up on so many people.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you get those messages across to the under 10 set?
Just yeah, I feel like every parent should just take PR lessons, and you just stay on message and you
Yeah.
repeat the message. That's all you can do. You also have to coordinate with your spouse or partner your message, so that way it's like a
We're
cohesive
gonna say
message.
this, right?
Hey, here are the values we are going to overly positively reinforce. Correct? Awesome. Let's go out there and positively reinforce it, and just repeat the same thing over and over.
Do you
It feels sometimes like you're gaslighting your kids because you're like, "It was good when you did this. I do like when you're this person." And it's like, but also you're more than this person, and don't put too much self-worth and value in it, but also be this person.
It's such a complex message.
It's so hard.
I also think we have less impact on them as we would like, and all we can do is model that behavior,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yep. Yep.
So let me ask you this, do you ever not agree with your wife? I don't mean like it's like you're on
Sure. Yeah.
different things, but do you ever have a different interpretation of a message? You're like, "I don't think I wouldn't have done it that way." Like
I
not
mean, yeah.
huge, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's not how I would have played that."
Yep, I think and it's usually around, like, discipline and what our line is. Because what
Yeah.
your line is, like, "I'm not gonna accept this," is I think it's different for every single person, and I think it's more like I think those are the moments also where you just go back to your kid and explain. If your wife is like or partner is like, "Hey, that's not how I would've done that. This is how I interpreted what you did," then that's whenever I just go back to the kid and be like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you into my mental space of, like, here's why I did this, here's what I saw, and here's what I don't want you to become." Like, I'm more than happy to have that conversation with a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old and
Right.
older kids also. But that's more how I approach it. If my wife is like, "Hey, that's not the route I would have taken to get to that end result." Then let's be like, "Oh, I'll go talk to the kid about it," and be like, "Hey, if let me tell like here's what I know we just had this moment. Here's what my mind went to whenever we had this moment, and I want you to know why I said this thing, why I reacted this way, and what I like. And I felt like if I didn't have that moment, who I thought you could become." That's like how I approach it. Is just telling. I think one thing that seems to be very different with the next generation of parenting is we actually admit to our kids that we have a mental space and that things are going on in our lives and like
Yeah.
just be like, hey, here's how I got here and I want you to know how I process the world, as opposed to I am your parent, this is what is right. And it's like I'm hoping what I'm doing doesn't damage you too much.
Right.
That's my reality of
It's
parenting is
gonna.
it's going to
We don't know
because
how yet, but it's
you are no one goes through life without a childhood wound, coping mechanisms, and searching for value in places where they will never find it. That's
Mhm.
a part of existing.
Yeah, it's true, and you just hope that the damage you cause is as minimal as you can make it out of your own
Right.
awareness of it,
Yep.
and that you can sort of mitigate the damage of the outside world.
Yep. Because who I am is going to like one thing I always like try to tell dads, which is never like flattering, but I think is reality, is I think fatherhood is one of the first times in your life in which you really care. You're gonna try your best and your best isn't enough. And you have to learn how to be comfortable with that of like, hey,
Mhm.
I'm gonna try really hard and I'm still gonna cause damage. And like if you don't think that's your reality, whenever your kids don't talk to you whenever they're in your 20s, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Because you're not willing to admit your best wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And it's because you're human. And it actually opens up lots of doors for you to be loved and understood and for you to say, I'm sorry, and to let your kids know that it's okay to be human. So lean into that as opposed to leaning into some pity party that your best wasn't enough. Your best isn't going to be enough. It's going to be good. It's not going to hit the mark. There's going to be gaps. It's just part of being human. It's part of being alive.
Absolutely, and everybody thinks like, "Oh, it's a baby, I can manage this thing."
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like and you have all your crap that you're like, I'm gonna make sure he doesn't have any of the crap that I had. But like, okay, well then it's whack-a-mole. You're covering up
Hmm.
one thing, you're something else. The world is gonna
Correct.
happen to your kids no matter what. And all you can do is like give them tools to be like, when the world happens,
Yes.
here's how to think about yourself in that world, and it
Hmm.
and don't be that don't be so hard on yourself or whatever. Here's how to manage all the things that are going to happen. And you're right, like the stuff about like being a dad, I'm like, yeah, I make mistakes all the time, and I tell them, and I'm like, yeah, I screwed this up. My wife and I talk about our relationship with our son is so much different than our parents.
Yes.
And I'm older, so my parents were way a different generation. I'm like, by the time I was 21, they didn't know where I was ever. And
And
I
didn't
lived at home. They didn't, when I was at college, they didn't know who my friends were or what I was doing or anything. They didn't know it. We're very tied to my son, very ingrained in my son's life in a healthy way. We're not like
yeah, yeah,
tell
yeah.
him what to
Not
do,
codependent.
but
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
understand, but when he tells us that, he tells us a lot of things that are going on, and we're really happy about that because we're like, my parents didn't know anything I was doing. You know what I
Nope.
mean? And so like
I do.
to and we want to show him that. And my wife is self-employed as well. She makes leather goods. So he sees the two
Cool.
of us like being self-employed and what that means and the difficulties of that and stuff like that. So I mean, it's like I just try to model how to handle the world so maybe he can see like, all right, this isn't that big deal that something didn't go my way. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
It's hard.
it's really hard. And I think like, yeah, because I think that's a definite difference. And I always assume it's like, well, did anyone show like if I think of my dad's parents, my grandpa was a World War II vet. So that means like 18 or 19, he was in war.
Mhm.
So what's the emotional range and knowledge of my grandpa? It's not going to be very high.
Mhm.
It's going to be scarcity focused. It's going to be how do I make sure you have a roof over your head the entire time? And like when your entire mindset is that, you aren't really thinking about like, but how do I interact with this person as much? You're just like, can this kid eat? Like,
Mhm.
I lived in the Great Depression. Can this kid eat and have a roof over their head? And is someone going to try to kill them? And are we at
Mhm.
war? That if I'm in that mindset, I'm not really focused on how are you today. It's just like, are you still alive? Hell yeah, we did it today.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
that's not. Most of my friendships that are deep aren't because I was like, did I keep you alive today? So it's just a different energy.
My dad was in the Second World War. At the very
Mhm.
end, same thing, and that's what you said, that is exactly it. He's like, "The bills are paid." Like, not like I'm done. He was a really good dad, like, he was
Mhm.
really good, but he wasn't like, "Hey, how you feeling about that?"
Yeah, of
I
course.
even when I was a teenager, I was, like, going to art school, and I was like, he was in Europe,
Yeah.
and I was like, there's no way he respects me." Do you know what I mean? We never
Yeah.
talked
No,
about it,
yeah.
but, like, I'm like, "How does he?" I can't come home and be like, "How do you like this typography?"
As he was like putting his life on the line
And
for the country
right,
at the
and
exact
he's
same
looking
age.
at the
Yeah.
pictures of himself, right? He's like, "Oh yeah, this is what a half track is." Like, "Ah, yeah, I get it." But yeah, no, it's
That-
true. But we're fortunate in that your awareness of those things for your kids is like huge, and
yeah.
we'll screw them up in a new, fresh way for
Pretty
their
much. It'll be
generation.
brand new. It'll be
Well,
brand
they
new.
know.
And that's what we should really just tell our kids how to be therapists because there might not always be disposable income for a therapist, but there will always be a need for a therapist.
Absolutely, yeah. It's for everybody. It's good.
It is. It's very helpful. So anyway, how I end every episode is I ask every guest a series of 5 questions. They aren't rapid fire. If you've listened to a couple episodes, then you have. Hopefully, you made it to the end. Hopefully, you didn't
I
get too
did. I
distracted.
did. I can't remember what the questions are, which I guess is good, but
That's
I did
fine.
remember.
That's fair. Okay. So, first question is did you have a backup name for your son? Like did you have a name that you almost named him?
No, we had he been a girl, it would have been Holiday.
Okay.
But which I thought of, and I was surprised because my wife lit up and liked it right away because I'm like, I was
Nice.
striking out left and right. I think for a boy, I think for a while we had Jack, and his name is
Yeah.
Ryan, and those actually turned out to be two pretty very popular names at that time.
Yeah.
But we went with Ryan. Yeah.
Wait. Jack Ryan? Isn't that like is
Yeah,
that
that's
Tom
like
Clancy?
a character. Yeah. That's like a
Yeah, it's like okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so good to know your son is technically a spy
he
in
is.
reality.
He is.
His cover is being
Right.
in a rock band
As being
that
a
towards the
sensitive
country
musician.
is playing minor chords on an electric guitar.
Right.
That's awesome. Next question. Who is your favorite TV or movie dad?
TV or movie dad?
Yeah.
I really like the guy on Modern Family. I think
Yeah.
that he's
Phil?
like Phil
Yep.
is like he's earnest and he just means well, and and like the whole ADHD thing, he's just a warm, good person. I like him a lot.
Next question. Do you have or did you have a go-to replacement curse word? Like, what was like if you stub your toe, something like that? Did you just curse in front of your son, or did you have like a flibbity gibbet with a blah type of word?
Would I think I would just make a random noise, and I think I made it until he was 9, and then I was dropping F bombs pretty
And you're
hard.
like, you're saying this too. I know you are.
Yeah, right. I'm like, you're a skater. You're watching skate videos on YouTube all day. I'm not, I mean, I get that there's like I have to be held to a higher standard than YouTube skateboarders, but I'm like, you get it. I'm using it appropriately.
Yeah, yeah. You're not just flowing them out there. There's a purpose for the F word in this scenario.
I think I would stop myself after mother sometimes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I would be like,
Mother,
be like, what? Dad doesn't like his mother.
dad, go to therapy. Stop walking into the walls.
Right.
That's awesome. Next question. What was like one of your favorite like toys or activities you would do with your son whenever he was growing up?
When he was growing up, well, so he would we would take him to skate parks all the time. That
Hmm.
was a big thing. And at home, he would build his own skate parks. And I
That's
would do
cool.
that with him because he would do it like out of like cardboard and stuff. And
Mhm.
it was a really elaborate cardboard skate park thing that my wife wasn't had because it looked super janky because he was
Of
little.
course.
But I loved it. I was like, this is great. Like I'd come home and there'd be a whole another section built. That was really fun building things together and me
That's cool.
supporting his skateboarding was good.
That's really cool. Um, and then last question. I'm always interested to ask this to people who do work in like the kids sphere of
Mhm.
entertainment. What is your least favorite kids show? Like whenever your son would watch it, you'd be like, I can't watch this or movie. You can add movie in there also.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it sounds dumb, but he had really good taste.
That's good.
And it was so long ago that he would watch things that I'd be like, "I can't do this." Because he'd watch Thomas the Tank Engine, and I'll tell you, that was a good show. Like, it was a little animated trains, it was like, "Oh my god, that's pretty good." There was nothing that I had to leave the room about.
Okay.
Do you know what I
You
mean?
also didn't have to. I think YouTube has really changed the whole what is crap kid entertainment
Right,
world.
yeah, yeah.
'Cause there's some stuff, like, where they'll want like, my kids are like, "What's this on YouTube?" And I'm like, "Our TV doesn't have YouTube," and, like, try to lie to them, but it never really works.
See, yeah, that's the thing. So he had to watch either DVDs or what was on TV because
Yeah,
YouTube was around,
yeah.
but
Not what
that
it is now.
wasn't hadn't blown up to where he could watch something on TV. The couple of
Yeah.
YouTube things that I've seen, like, that are for little kids, I can't do it, that are popular now, I can't do
Yep.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want
Okay,
to
then I'll
crush anything.
do a different question. What's, like, a moment of your son's life you're most excited to see him, like, do in his life? I know he's, like, a musician, he's
Yeah.
about to go out on the road and all that. Is there anything where you're like, "Oh, man, I hope this is part of your life. I hope you achieve this," or anything like.
That's it, yeah, that it's him leaving college because it's funny, we're not musical at all, my wife and I, so he has this passion that he took on himself, and there's similarities because he takes it very seriously, like I took my art career very seriously, even though it's sort of a fun thing or whatever, that it's his passion, but he's doing it, and he's finding the things out, so I'm excited for him to go out on his own as his band, and have experiences and be confident to set up shows and do the shows and have them not go well and
Yeah,
ride all
the
that
whole
stuff out.
experience. Yeah.
Seriously, all that stuff. Have crappy sleeping in crappy places and
Mhm.
doing things and nobody comes to shows. I mean, I want him to be successful, but I'm excited for him to have this time in his life. That's
Yeah.
really what I'm excited about. Yeah.
Well, because it's like whenever you care about something, you're passionate about it. Whenever your expectations and reality don't line up, whenever you do a show and it's just you and the bartender, what do you feel in that moment? Are you willing to
Hmm.
get back to keep going or not, or do you look up and go, "Man, I'm good"? It's all such a journey. Whenever you care, that it is like I think failure allows you to understand a lot of aspects about yourself that you didn't know existed inside of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you a whole person, I think. Yeah.
It does, yeah. And your son will play some shows in which maybe one or two people show up, just like you're still going to like book events where it's like, cool, me and the librarian hung out for 2 hours. It was great.
Yep, it was great. Yeah. I see other people's points of view and it's like it's hard to do things.
Mhm.
Doing things is packing your 3 kids in the car to go do a thing. It's an effort.
It is. It totally is. And then last thing is just like moment for self-promotion. So like, do you have a website, Instagram? If we want to like follow you, besides, going to independent bookstores or the
Yeah,
library and
yeah.
checking out your books, do some self-promotion,
Sure.
Bob.
So it's bobshea.com and it's Instagram. I'm Bob Shea Books. And I have 3 Substacks now. I have one for creatives with ADHD who how to get your work done because I figured out
Yeah.
that system after I was diagnosed. There's a Bob Shea's Drawing Club. That's for kids. So that's like a kids one. And then I have Bob Shenanigans, which is just my funny,
Nice.
goofy for grown-ups kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Sort of. Anyway,
It's
thanks.
entertaining to you, and
It's
hopefully
it's the outlet of
hopefully
yeah.
there's other quirky adults like me who are like, I think that's humorous. I'll watch this.
It's the most popular of the 3. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There are lots of other adults out there being like, yeah, I'm weird. Let's do this. So yeah, man, that's all
Cool.
I've got for you.
Yeah, it's nice.
Thanks for I do genuinely enjoy your books. And like I said earlier, I know whenever I read your books, like it's gonna be fun wordplay. There's gonna be like you're gonna include drawings of other characters from other books
Yeah.
inside of it and stuff like that. And which like I pay more attention whenever I read them to my
Oh,
kids.
good.
And
I'm
like
glad. I appreciate you saying
it
that. Thank you.
yeah, it makes me be more mentally present to the moment, and I don't phone it in. Or if I check out one of your books from the library or buy one, it's like, oh, I'm gonna actually pay attention to this one, and it's good to know. I know that going into it, and that's I think makes me a more present dad, which is what I'm
Great.
hoping to be every day. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Good job. Good job with the podcast, man. It's a
oh
nice
thanks,
idea.
appreciate that. Thanks for wanting to be part of it, and thanks for sharing your story with me. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy, man.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks to you. You
Bye-bye.
too. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never Effaced Network. Make sure to go to nevereffacednetwork.com to learn more about them.